Hey everyone, welcome to my second channel. If this is your first video here, be sure to subscribe. Today I'm going to be talking about my Tiburon. I'm sitting in it right now. Apologies, it's very windy today, so there might be a little bit of wind noise in this recording. I'm going to try to avoid it as much as possible. But today I'm just going to go through some basic things that I like and that I dislike about this car. We'll talk about a lot of the things I don't like, but I want to be positive still, so I'll throw some positivity in there. We'll talk about some things that I do like as well. So to start off with, my foot is on the clutch, just for your information. I find it really hard to get into first gear in this car, which is possibly my issue. Keep in mind, this is just my car. It is not, this video does not go for all Tiburons. But this is neutral. Obviously you can go side to side. Fourth gear really easy. Third gear really easy. Second not too bad, but first seemingly, especially when I'm trying to go on the road, it always seems to struggle a little bit to get into first. It's actually really easy when I'm just sitting here, but for whatever reason when I'm actually going it seems to be difficult. I find the same thing with reverse. It seems like it's a lot farther down than it should be. But yeah, probably just me. Something else I don't like is not this car's fault. It's very much the fact that this is a 2007, but this stereo is pretty basic. It doesn't sound that great, although it does have aux in. I don't have a cable for it, unfortunately, because my phone doesn't have a headphone jack because it's from that era. But the stereo itself does not sound very good, and that's something that could have been remedied. Like, this is more of a base model version of this car. It's the 4-cylinder GS Tiburon, so it doesn't have an advanced sound system or anything. It doesn't have the sub that you could get in these cars. It's just the basic stereo. However, for a basic stereo, it's got a lot of features. I just wish it sounded a bit better. It's a little bit muffled for whatever reason. So I'd like to apologize in advance for this next section, because as soon as I step out there, there's gonna be wind. It is a very humid day, but also a very beautiful day, and I figured I don't know, I just wanted to show you some of this stuff. But you can see there the headlights are foggy. These are old plastic headlights, so that is very, very common. That's one thing I don't like, but that is one thing that I can fix, and so I do plan to fix it by using my headlight restoration kit. I've talked about that before. I've done that on my Infinity. You can see those headlights are a lot more clear, and so I intend to do that on this car as well. So another thing that I don't like about this car in particular is that over time the seat bezel here has worn, and I hope that you can see that. It's kind of difficult for me because I'm in the passenger seat at the moment. The seat bezel is worn, and that is a little bit sharp actually. It seems like the previous owner might have tried to fix it with hot glue or something, but yeah, it didn't work, whatever they did. These seats are pretty nice. They're relatively aggressive, which is good because I'm pretty thin, so I want to fit tightly in seats. But that is annoying, and getting in the car every time I feel like I'm scratching myself slowly. Another thing from the passenger side is you can see that this mirror is cracked, and it's cracked on the outside there. That is going to have to be replaced. Just the cover itself, not the mirror, hopefully. But where the heck am I going to find another one of these cars in this blue? That's going to be a challenge. So yeah, that's one of my goals in terms of fixing things. Basically the headlights and this crack are the only major issues left with the car, other than something else that I'm going to be tackling today. Hopefully that goes well. There are a few other miscellaneous things that are wrong with the car. The paint is chipping off of the fuel door, and there's rust around the wing. Those are things that I would like to fix eventually. I actually really like the wing on this car. I think it's kind of cool. It is the perfect wing for this car in my opinion. Not too aggressive, but not too understated either. This car is not very fast, and that is quite obvious when I'm driving it. I feel like I drive this car kind of like a grandmother, like very slowly, not very aggressive. It's partly because I'm still learning, but at the same time I'm just trying to take it easy so I don't break it. I'm a little bit worried about that a lot of the time. Like, ultimately I wanted to make this video not so much to complain about this car, because it doesn't really have that much wrong with it. It's pretty much perfect for what it is. It obviously has some small issues, but it's not the end of the world. But I wanted to talk about this car because I kind of wanted to talk about my future plans for this car. And I think the fact is, like, I'm keeping it right now mostly because I need it to learn manual transmission. And then I don't, if I was to sell this car, I'd still be driving my Infiniti, which is a lot more expensive on fuel, and generally, I mean, it's an automatic, so it's really easy to drive. This one is hard to drive. It gives me anxiety to drive it, so it's something that I'm a little bit scared of sometimes, but I need to, because how else am I going to learn, right? This is the way to learn, just kind of brute forcing it in a lot of ways. I can only do so much practice in a parking lot before I need to just go out and do things. So this past week I've been driving this car every day to work, and I've only stalled twice, and both of those times were low speed. It wasn't anything major. I think I made one mistake this week where I went from 5th to 2nd when I was trying to go to 4th. But other than that, like, it's gone pretty decently, which is good. I'm not trying to hate on this car too much, but it's not very exciting. Like, it is just an Elantra powered Hyundai with 2 doors. It's not anything crazy. It doesn't need to be. That's kind of the point of why I bought it. I wouldn't say that I dislike this car, but I won't say that I'm in love with it. Like, I really like my Infiniti. I like the way it drives. I like the power it has, the way it handles. That's why I bought another one, and that turned out to be a bit of a failure. But this car, for me, is more of a learning tool than anything. And so when the time comes, I don't think I'll feel too bad about selling it. The only thing is, I don't want to take a big wash on it because I've spent $4,000 on this thing in total. So obviously it would need to sell for around that much, which I don't think it's going to, to be honest. That would be a fairly expensive Tiburon. But anyway, unless the car market continues to go insane, in which case I'll sell everything I have and start, like, I don't know, biking to work or something. I don't think that's even possible, but cars are really expensive right now, so I've even been considering selling my sedan Infiniti because I might be able to get the money back that I spent on it, as crazy as that is. So yeah, I have a couple of small things to deal with on this car. I'm gonna be working on the front brakes soon because one of them is rubbing, which isn't ideal. So I'll use some of the new stuff that I got and see if I can fix it a little bit nicer. But other than that, like, things are good. I'm not sure what I'm going to do next with this car. I find it kind of funny. I discovered yesterday that it has 1 Bridgestone tire and then 3 Michelin tires. So obviously there's a bit of a story there that I never even noticed that, but then the owner never told me why. So I'm kind of interested. In terms of future mods, I think probably wheels, tires, suspension, that would be what I would focus on. I wouldn't go for big power in this car. I don't think that would be necessary. Interestingly, this has the same bolt pattern as the Infinitis, obviously entirely different offset, but my Infiniti winter tires would fit this car, and that might be a thing. If I end up selling my Infiniti, I'll keep the winter tires that I have, then put them on this car, and then I'll be rolling with this thing in the winter, which might be a disaster. If you're coming from the main channel video, then you'll know that my project car debt is significant. And that's debt to myself. Like, it's not that I don't have the money, it's just that I'm way over my own budget and the budget that my wife has given me, which she isn't happy about, as you would suspect. So in a lot of ways, this car is just a very large piece of debt to myself that is waiting to be recouped. Same thing with the other coupe over there, which is slowly being parted out. I was able to sell the door off that, if you're interested, so it is entirely doorless at the moment. I just need to get rid of the hood and I'll feel a lot better about things. But anyway, guys, this video kind of just turned into an update, but I don't consider that to be a bad thing. Thank you for watching. I'll be trying to post once a week on either of my channels. On both of my channels, I guess, one video on each, somewhere around there. But content is changing up a little bit. I'm kind of, I don't know. I really like making these IRL videos. They're easy to edit, but I want to make sure that they're actually interesting. And then in terms of my other channel, the automation stuff is really just boring lately. So I'm thinking about switching things up, as often happens. We'll see though. We'll see what happens. Anyway, thank you for watching. I'll see you again next time.